I'd like to call to order the October 15, 2008 Planning and Zoning Commission hearing, and it's a few minutes late, but we were setting up the streaming video, and it's now set. And would you please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? We did find the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call roll, and Commissioner Miller and Commissioner Geltzer are unable to be here this evening, have other engagements. The rest of the Planning and Zoning Commission are here in attendance. We have the minutes of the meeting held in September. And are there any corrections and additions to the minutes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the last meeting as written.
Okay, Commissioner Loretano moves to approve the minutes. Is there a second? Commissioner Sean, seconded, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I'd like to announce that if you would like to speak to any agenda item that is on the agenda this evening, there are cards by the front door, and would you please fill them out, and we'll recognize you on any item that's on the agenda. Are there any public comments that wish to be made at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to ex parte communications. Any ex parte communications from commission members? No. None. None. Okay. I had, the Vice Chair had a call from RBF consultants regarding the second general plan amendment item, the 142 acres, wondering if there were any questions regarding that, and they'd be happy to provide answers on that. Being none, we'll move on then to old business, and the first item is a major general plan amendment, public hearing, and Mr. Canning. This is the Pecos Major General Plan Amendment, and Mr. Canning, if you would, we could expedite this. We have had 2 previous hearings on this matter, and if there are any changes or anything of that nature that should be brought to the attention of the Commission.
Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission, sure, I could go over the details that have changed since the last request, if that's what you prefer.
All right. Okay. I guess I'll then better open the public hearing, and we'll continue on. Mr. Canning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. As you know, this general plan amendment case was continued several times, starting in 2006 and then going into 2007 because the town of Buckeye objected to this request to expand the city's municipal planning area into their municipal planning area boundaries. Since then, city staff and the town of Buckeye have worked on drafting an intergovernmental agreement which would hopefully address this issue or this difference in opinion of whether the property should or should not, in fact, be located in the City of Goodyear's municipal planning area or the town of Buckeye's planning area. That intergovernmental agreement is expected to go before the town of Buckeye Council on November 4th. And if they vote to approve that agreement, then this case then can go forward to council without the town of Buckeye's objection. Some other details I wanted to fill you in with are this area located here was actually annexed into the town of Buckeye, in 2006, end of 2006, and so that's not included in this general plan amendment at this time. When the intergovernmental agreement is approved by Buckeye, or if it is approved by Buckeye, Buckeye would then de-annex this property, allowing the city of Goodyear to bring that property into its planning area. The other change I wanted to bring to your attention is this 160 acres located here. That previously was not included in the general plan amendment area back in 2006 in this proposal, but now it is. Other than that, I can't think of anything else that should be mentioned regarding this case. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. The applicant is also here.
Okay. Questions from commissioners? Mr. Williams.
What's the history, David, on the other 160 area? Why was that not included then, and why is it included now?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, it's my understanding that that area is BLM property, and I can't tell exactly why it wasn't included the first time around, but in our second review of this case, we made the determination that it should be included in order to square off or level off the western boundary.
Looks like it makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? Mr. Canning, one question I have is, this is all contingent upon the November 4th Town of Buckeye Council, or Town of Buckeye Council meeting. And is there any likelihood that it might change at that November 4th, this agreement between the Town of Buckeye and the City of Goodyear?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, sure. There is a possibility that there, in the end, could be an objection. We're hopeful that there won't be, based upon our discussions with Town of Buckeye staff. We're hopeful that it will be, that this intergovernmental agreement will be adopted by them.
Okay. All right. I guess with no further discussion, is there any discussion among commission members regarding this plan amendment? Hearing none, this is the evening that we're going to take action on this. Is there anyone in the public that would like to respond to the general plan amendment? As presented. All right, hearing none, then I guess we're, oh, yes, sir. Would you come forward, please, and give your name and your address, please?
My name is Fuad Musa, and my address is 963 North Dustin Lane in Chandler, Arizona.
Okay.
And it took us a while to find the place, so that's why we're late. I apologize for that.
Okay.
You were talking about an amendment. I'm sorry, I don't mean to waste everybody's time here, but is this different than the plan that was put forth 2-3 years ago to do the same thing?
I think we better have the staff. There have been some changes, but this is the general plan amendment for what is called the Pecos.
Yes.
It's approximately 2,500 acres. It includes more acreage, but there have been some changes of several years ago.
Mr. Chairman, if I could answer that. Basically, the only changes that occurred is at the south end of the planning area. There's a piece of property that was annexed. This has been annexed into the city of Buckeye already, the town of Buckeye.
Yes.
And so we've excluded it from the planning area boundary for the time being, with hopes that as Goodyear grows in this direction, eventually this area would be de-annexed and then annexed into Goodyear.
Which road is this?
This is Acotillo here, and then this would be Chandler Heights here. And then we added this piece in, which is a piece of BLM property that wasn't included before, and we just included it to square off the boundary. That's really the only two changes. Certainly.
packet. Thank you, sir. I guess we're at the point where action is required. I'll close the public hearing at this point and ask for commission action. This is an approval. Recommend approval.
I move that we approve case number 06-700-00001 for the general plan amendment as written.
Motion by Commissioner Lauritano to approve the plan as presented. And is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Lauk, Commissioner Lauk seconded the motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried, 5-0. Okay. Under new business, we have a case, Goodyear 142, general plan amendment, and you have a copy of that from the last meeting. And Ms. Blackender will make the presentation, and I'll open the public hearing. Anna, you're on.
All right. Thank you, Vice Commissioner Carol DeBrocker, members of the Commission. Would you like me to expedite this as well, or?
Yeah.
I just wanted to check and make sure.
If there are any changes, maybe I'd better say, if there are any changes, would you indicate such to the Commission?
All right. From the last time we met about this, for the Goodyear 142 Major General Plan Amendment, there are no changes to the proposed land use. You can see here what the general plan currently states is low-density residential, and what is proposed is light industrial with medium-high density residential. For the Goodyear 142 major general plan amendment, staff found that the proposed land uses are appropriate, given that the property is adjacent to light industrial on the east and its proximity to land designated general industrial to the north. The medium-high density residential staff felt can serve as a transitional land use between the light industrial to the east and the residential to the west within what is known as Lake and Ranch or River Ranch. It is staff's opinion that this land use designation should extend along the entire west boundary of the property. So along that entire western boundary of the property there, so that the transition is provided within the property owned by Goodyear 142 and along the entire length of the property. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the City Council approval of the proposed major GPA, subject to the land use plan being modified to reconfigure the 25 acres of medium high density residential so that it extends along the entire western boundary, and also to show the right-of-way corridor plan for the SR 801, which will go through that property.
Okay. Good. Commission questions? Hearing and seeing none, then I'll continue the public hearing with, are there public comments, or does anyone wish to comment on this general plan amendment? Hearing none, I will then close the public hearing and ask for commission discussion or commission action.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of case 08-700-00001, the Goodyear 142 Major General Plan Amendment.
Commissioner Laux made the recommendation to the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Williams seconded, and there's no further discussion at this point. All in favor of the general plan amendment as presented indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. 5-0. It passes. Thank you. And let's see, the next item is North City Commerce Major General Plan Amendment. Mr. Tavasoli, and before you start, I'll open the public hearing for the staff presentation.
Thank you, Chairman DeBroekert, members of the Commission, and the public. I guess I'll dilute my presentation as well and then open it up to questions. I did have this very elaborate report plan, but it seems to be working quite well here.
You're going great guns.
Okay, so real quickly, the subject tonight for this particular agenda item, again, is North City Commerce Park. And real quickly, again, the location is at the southeast corner of Citrus Road and Camelback Road being the far northern boundary of the city of Goodyear. 254 acres, currently zoned, currently holds a final PAD status for single-family residential development. The landowner, or I should say the property, has reverted back to the original landowner, that being the Able family because of the stalled housing market. So it currently retains that final PAD single-family residential status, and according to the general plan, it also retains a rural residential status, or 0 to 2 dwelling units to the acre. The applicant is proposing a change from one land use designation to another, that being final PAD status to light industrial. There have been no changes since our last discussion. I will say, just one reminder is the landowner here at the immediate southeast corner did express opposition to this particular general plan amendment request, and I didn't see him in the audience tonight, but again, no changes. Staff at this point is recommending approval. However, there's a condition that I should kind of elaborate on a little bit. Because this currently holds, again, a final PAD zoning designation, after this general plan amendment request, if it's commission and council is inclined to approve it, it still can be developed as the residential development that it was entitled for several years back. So that being the case, staff is recommending approval of this general plan amendment request because, well, for one thing, it does appear to be an appropriate land use given the adjacent land uses around it, particularly to the east with the other industrial sites. But so that we have to avoid reverting this general plan designation back to a residential designation, we are requiring the applicant to come in with a proposal to rezone the property, and we would present that before you concurrently with this general plan amendment request. So with that, I'll close my comments and open it up to questions.
Okay. Questions of staff? Ms. Loretano.
I actually have a brief one. I noticed there was a issue about the water campus. Just in general, does residential use more water than light industrial or industrial? Or what does that mean when it says that
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Loretano, I can't really speak much for the numbers, and I'm not even ready to say if it does in fact use more water than a residential development. But what is in fact the case is that it does assume a residential development, and that might in fact throw some numbers off a little bit, and there might be some issues regarding the capacity of the water campus that need to be addressed.
Okay, but nothing that would cost like extra money to the city by changing this with regard to the water issue?
No.
Okay.
This is it's not our water system. The water is being supplied by Arizona American Water Company.
Okay.
So.
Right. Any further questions of staff? I'll open I've already opened the public hearing, but are there public comments that would like to be expressed regarding North Commerce Park General Plan Amendment at this point? Hearing none, then I will close the public hearing and ask for commission action.
I'll move we'll approve general plan amendment North City Commerce Park, case number 087000002.
Motion made by Commissioner Loretano. Is there a second? Commissioner Schlosser seconds the motion. And will at this time vote. All in favor of the recommendation indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. And the next case is a general plan amendment, El Rio Crossing, Katie Wilkinson. And I will open the public hearing and ask for the staff presentation. Are there any changes?
Thank you, Chair Commissioner. There are no changes or updates to report to the Commission at this time. I would like to say that staff recommends approval of the general plan amendment, so I'll just go ahead and take any questions or comments you may have, and representatives of the applicant are also available for questions and comment.
All right, okay. Are there questions of staff?
Not here.
Just a quick one that's somewhat unrelated. Do we have any sort of time frame on when the actual 303 route is going to be selected?
Do you know the... I know it's a long ways off.
I mean, I know it's at the end of the 20-year plan, but
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Locks, the alignment is currently in kind of the final stages by ADOT. There are, right now, the alternatives, I think, from Lower Buckeye to MC85 is where there are basically 2 or 3 alignments or sub-alignments that are in final study by ADOT. By my recollection, I believe that decision on the alignment should be within the year. The construction of that is a different story.
Okay. The applicant wish to make a presentation at this time? All right. Thank you. We're on a roll, then. All right. Yes, Mr. Krause. Oh, I thought you were make a comment. Then, if there is no further discussion on this item, I will close the public hearing and ask for commission action on the El Rio General Plan Amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of case number 08-700-00003, the El Rio Crossing Major General Plan Amendment.
A motion made by Commissioner Laux. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Williams seconds. And we are at the point where commission action is all in favor. Indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Which, Mr. Schmidt or Mr. Tavazzoli. Next item is the Southwest Goodyear Major General Plan Amendment. And I'll open the public hearing and request the staff presentation. Mr. Tavazzoli, is there anything to change in the...
Well, Mr. Chairman, there are no changes. However, I do want to acknowledge, and I brought this up at the meeting last month, actually. There was a landowner. By the way, here are the boundaries of the area, the 3,850 acres being considered for a general plan amendment to include within our municipal planning area. Landowner of this 160-acre area here to the east or east of this area, they had asked staff if we would consider their request to redesignate this particular 160 acres to light density residential and a 20-acre area designated for community commercial. That being amended from the rural residential that it's currently designated as. Since then, we've talked with the representative of the landowner. At this point, staff doesn't think it's appropriate at this time to redesignate that to the land uses being requested for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's highly speculative, being that the general plan is for just that, as a planning tool. We think at this point to redesignate just 160 acres within this vast area as light density residential and community commercial at this point will be highly speculative without some sort of a plan before you, or at least some sort of a vision. The other thing, there are no roads adequately serving this site right now. And I guess that's part of the vision as well. That would need to be considered. However, we did express to the landowner that we would be happy to sit with them at a future, perhaps a pre-application meeting, and consider either a major or a minor general plan amendment to bring before you at a future date. But otherwise, we're recommending approval as originally proposed.
Okay.
With that, I'll close my comments.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this general plan amendment at this time? Are there questions of staff by the commission members? Hearing none, then I will close the public hearing and ask for commission action. And this excludes the 160 acres in your recommendation. That's correct?
Mr. Chairman, no, that's not correct. The 160 acres that I showed you earlier, this is showing what the landowner had requested. This is within the 3,580 acres that's being considered. So, no, it's not outside the subject area.
Okay.
But what we are saying is that we want to go back to our original request that came before you and maintain that as a rural residential.
Okay,
so.
Got it. Okay, then I guess I'd ask for commission action on the general plan amendment.
Mr. Chairman, I will recommend approval of case number 08700-00004, Southwest Goodyear Major General Plan Amendment, as presented.
Second.
And motion by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Lau. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Okay. One more general plan amendment. And Mr. Schmitz, I will open the public hearing, and this is a major plan text amendment. And Mr. Schmitz, you are on.
Mr. Chairman, Commission members, members of the public, this text amendment is intended to accomplish three things in amending the text of the general plan in terms of how we determine a minor or a major amendment. The first thing is to correct an apparent misplacement of some bullet points within the text that were inadvertently placed in the wrong paragraph and should be switched around. So a minor housekeeping point there. The second one is the use of tables 2.4 and 2.5. When we use them independently and try to determine whether it should be a major or minor, depending on what it says in each table, it creates some conflicts. Table 2.4 basically has some situations where no amendment is required, and yet Table 2.5 has very few of those situations allowed. So when you use them to determine a major or minor, if it's listed in either table, it creates a conflict where it almost renders tables 2.4 useless. So what we're proposing there is that when we would review it against the two tables, we would use the lesser of the two tables to determine which it is, whether it's a minor or a major. And then lastly, on the definition of the amount of acreage and how percentage of change is calculated, we're suggesting that rather than the amount of acreage being the size of the property, the size of the PAD, that it be the amount of property being proposed for change. And again, what happens is there are situations where when you base it on the size of the PAD and then the percentage, you end up with some rather small percentages that fall into a category as a minor amendment when on Table 2.4 it would have been considered as no amendment for, say, under 20 acres. So there's conflicts there. So this proposal, how we've rewritten the table, would address that conflict. I could go into additional detail if you'd like, but otherwise I'll just stand for questions at this point.
All right, thank you. Questions by commission members? Hearing none. Is there a public comment that would like to be made regarding this text amendment to the general plan? Hearing none, I will then close the public hearing and request commission action on the major general plan text amendment.
I move that we approve case number 08-700-00005, major plan text amendment as written.
All right, Commissioner Lauritano made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Laux seconded the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. The next item is Rose Garden rezone, case 07-200-00024, and staff member making the presentation is Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I guess I better open the public hearing.
Okay.
And it's open. And Mr. Williams, proceed.
Sir, I'm unable to expedite my...
No.
But what I can do is we have before you a preliminary plat as well, and I'd be happy to address them both in the same presentation if that would please the commission. Thank you.
We'll take separate action on them, but you can combine the presentations. Right.
Before you this evening is the request to rezone for the Rose Garden development, which is roughly 157 acres, that is located on the southeast corner of Van Buren Street and Citrus Road. Currently, this land has a designation of agricultural urban with a general plan designation of low-density residential. The applicant is a participating member of the MOU, which grants them a 0.85 density bonus for contributions made towards infrastructure in the West Goodyear Central Planning Area. Now, the Rose Garden development proposes 136 acres of single-family residential development, which is denoted in this area, 8.3 acres of general commercial, which is located directly on the corner of Van Buren Street and Citrus Road, and 9.6 acres of what will be the future public facilities district, which was targeted for a 5-acre water campus and a fire station as well. The residential portion of this development proposes 4 different lot sizes: 65 and 60s by 115, 70 by 120s, and of course the Z lots here that are adjacent to the commercial parcel. Access will be provided to the development in 3 different locations: one via Van Buren Street, another via Citrus Road, and to the south one via Harrison Street. The proposed density for the Rose Garden development comes in right at about 3.17 dwelling units per acre. The development proposes 32.4 acres, or roughly 23.8% of open space, which is surrounded around a 5.1 acre central park here, with additional tot lots and pocket parks in 3 different areas, as well as those amenities, ball fields, barbecue pits, shaded ramadas, the assortment, as well as a pedestrian connection that runs roughly right down through here, which provides access to the school that's located over in Canyon Trails. We had a citizen review regarding this development on May 28th, 2005. We had, I believe it was 2 residents who showed up. They were homeowners along the eastern portion of the development here. Their main concern was twofold. Was it going to be lots backing up to their development, or was there going to be a collector road coming through there serving as circulation for the development? The applicant basically informed them that, it would be lots, they would share a common lot wall, and that it would not be a road backing up to that. There was no opposition opposed voiced at this meeting. Staff is recommending approval of the rezone and the preliminary plat. That concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Are there questions of staff at this juncture? Now, the blue portion that was on the map, that's a public service facility?
This is the Public Facilities District.
Okay. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation at this time?
Only if necessary.
Questions of the applicant? Not necessary. Then, thank you, Mr. Williams. I guess we're at the point where I can close the public hearing and indicate commission action. Now, this is on the rezone. We'll separate the 2 issues, the plat and the preliminary plat and the rezone. Commission action.
I move that we approve the rezone, which is case number 07-200-00024, as written, with the stipulations.
With the stipulations. Second to that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Laux seconded the motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. And the next item is the preliminary plat for Rose Garden. Does the applicant wish to make a comment at this time? Okay. Are there staff members wish to make a comment at this time? We made that presentation already. Okay. We're at close the public hearing then for the preliminary plat and request action of the commission.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve case number 08-500-00001, request preliminary plat approval subdividing 136.3 net acres into 432 single-family residential lots located at the southeast corner of Citrus Road and Van Buren Street with the stipulations.
All right. Is there a second to Mr. Williams' motion? Mr. Schlosser seconds that. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Both Mr. Williams. Okay. Moving right along then, we are at case 08-350-00005, Vineyard Christian Fellowship West Valley Church Special Use Permit. And Mr. Birmingham is the staff presenter. I'll open the public hearing and ask for the staff presentation. Brett, you're on. You don't need to summarize it.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the Commission, and members of the public. This application is a request for approval of a special use for the Vineyard Christian Fellowship West Valley Church to be located in an existing commercial center, which is located at 255 North Litchfield Road. It's generally located at the southeast corner of Litchfield Road and Van Buren Street. So we've got Litchfield Road here, Van Buren Street. It's a little difficult to read see over the projector. Existing land uses and zoning surrounding the subject property include the following. To the north, here we have the Palm Valley Crossing Commercial Center, PAD. It's zoned PAD. To the south, in this area here to the south, is the Litchfield Manor residential subdivision, which is zoned R17. It's approximately 100 feet away from the site. To the east is an area of commercial development, which is zone C2, and to the west we have the Goodyear Financial Center, which is where City Hall is, which is zone C2. So vehicular access to the church will be provided at 2 existing driveways on Litchfield Road and 2 existing driveways on Van Buren Street. The zoning ordinance prescribes that churches may be considered in any zoning district as a special use. The application is required to ensure that the proposed location and establishment of the use will, number one, be desirable or necessary to the public convenience or welfare, and 2, be harmonious and compatible with the adjacent, with uses that are adjacent to the site. In this application, the church is purchasing a subdivided lot within the commercial center. The lot is highlighted in red on the screen here. The lot includes 57 parking spaces, which are along the building frontage and also in the rear of the building. This exhibit shows the building with some future signs overlaid on top of them to show you what it may look like. The architectural theme for the proposed building will not change. There are no proposed revisions to the exterior of the building. So there will not be church bells or any noise emitted from the building. I want to talk for a few moments about some of the activities that the church has provided in their application. The church conducts their primary church services on Sunday mornings, and those are typically from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. In addition, the church intends to utilize the building space for office staff throughout the week. They will also have smaller group meetings and seminars at various times during the week and at weeknights. And we were told that these smaller group meetings would probably contain 30 to 50 attendees. The church is averaging about 140 members for their main Sunday morning service. And in regards to this new building, the church has indicated that they would utilize approximately 5,000 square feet for an assembly area for the church. And based on the zoning ordinance requirement, this would mean that the church would need approximately 67 parking spaces. So although the church would be deficient by 10 parking spaces, the center does have a cross-access and shared parking agreement, which has been recorded with the CCNRs. The covenants, conditions, and restrictions and grants of easements for this commercial center. The planned church services, the activities and the events that are proposed to be conducted on the site are those that are customary. They're typical for a religious institution. The Sunday morning service would draw the most attendance, which would require the most parking, and that is during the time when the majority of the businesses in the center would be closed. Shifting gears now, in regards to the citizen participation associated with this application, we conducted a citizen review meeting on October 2nd to discuss this request with all of the adjacent property owners. There were, in addition to the applicant and their group, there were 3 people that attended the citizen review meeting. We did receive 5 letters of opposition from adjacent businesses in the commercial center, and 3 of those letters were included in your staff report. 2 additional letters were included this evening and are in front of you on your desk. We received 2 additional letters of opposition, and also today we received 2 letters of support for the application. The letters of opposition and the discussions at the citizen review meeting were primarily concerned about the availability of parking for the businesses there. There were 4 business owners who voiced concern that the church's congregation may grow and potentially have a negative impact on their businesses. They noted that their businesses require and depend on the parking that's immediately adjacent to their businesses. And they were concerned that those spaces would be used up and their businesses would be hurt. They also asked about activities during the week that may require a lot of parking. They specifically noted weddings, funerals, and other social events that may occupy additional spaces in the commercial center. The applicant in the meeting responded that funerals typically consist of not more than 100 attendees and that they are typically held at funeral homes in an off-site location. The applicant stated that other than the primary Sunday morning service, as I mentioned before, the average meetings during a weekday or a weeknight would be approximately 30 to 50 members. The applicant also clarified that the current congregation consists of 140 members, and they tell us that their ratio of people to vehicles is 2 to 1. So with 140 members, they would have right now approximately 75 vehicles, which would be utilizing their parking area. An additional concern that was raised at the citizen review meeting, one local building owner expressed concern that they thought that a church use was not ideal for a mixed-use commercial center, and that changing the use from retail to a church may result in loss of property value and potential loss of tax revenue for the city of Goodyear. The applicant responded that church members will likely utilize services of adjacent businesses in the center after church services, and that it has the potential to have a positive impact on the existing businesses in the center. Finally, I wanted to walk you through the stipulations that are included in your staff report. Just quickly going over each of them. There are 5 stipulations. The first stipulation was placed to ensure that the church conducts its primary service on Sunday mornings, which is when the majority of people will be there, which will ensure that parking shouldn't be a problem, because as was mentioned previously, the Sunday morning is generally when the other businesses are not open. The second stipulation, since most of the parking, I'm going to go back to the aerial photo. Since most of the parking associated with this lot is in the rear of the site, there's a stipulation for the church to provide an entrance on the rear of the building, which would be the east side of the building, to ensure that access to that parking area is readily available for the church patrons. And the third stipulation is just to notify the owner of the lot that they are in proximity to the Phoenix Goodyear Airport, and they will know of the activities that are associated with that intense use and the future plans of the airport. Stipulation number 4 is just to remind the applicant that they will comply with the city's local ordinances, the city's building code requirements when they do change the use for that building. And finally, stipulation number 5 allows the city to revoke the special use in the event that it's not operated in compliance with the stipulations provided, or if the use somehow generates an excessive amount of traffic or parking that interferes with the normal operation of the other uses in the center. So in conclusion, staff finds that the application adequately satisfies the review criteria for the special use as contained in the zoning ordinance, and staff is recommending approval, subject to the stipulations outlined in your staff report. And this concludes the presentation by staff. Staff is available to answer any questions that you might have. The applicant is also available to answer any questions.
Okay, the questions of staff at this point.
Brett, tell me about this little strip of parking that goes, I mean, that's right in front of the building immediately to the north of what will be the church property?
Chairman, Commissioner Williams, the subdivision was designed a long time ago, and the lot is odd shaped, but this particular lot does include a.
Is that entrance on the north side to that building?
The entrance is right here. The entrance to the building is right here on the west
side.
side.
The church building. I understand. The building to the north of it, though, is the entrance to that building on the north side of the building or on the west side of the building?
The north side, right. The main entrance is. The main entrance to the paint store is right there.
So that strip of parking spaces won't block access to the. Is it a paint store? You said.
That's correct. The main entrance is here.
And they have parking on the north side. They
typically park there, and also there is a shared parking agreement throughout this center. So although specific businesses may own areas on the lot, they still share with the commercial center. They agree to not impede the adjacent businesses.
Does it seem like the only time the church would need the parking spaces on the west side of the building in the where there's access to all the other buildings would be on Sunday morning? When they're in their high usage period?
Chairman, Commissioner Williams, I would defer that question to the applicant, who would be able to tell you more about how they envision the parking being utilized. So I would defer that to the applicant at this time.
After I ask him that, could we stipulate that they use the parking to the east of the building all times other than Sunday morning, when they would have the ability to use the parking in both areas?
Chairman, Commissioner Williams, we can place stipulations on the application if we deem that it is necessary to have a positive impact on the adjacent uses. When staff evaluated this request, the concern that we had was that the only use that would be open on Sunday mornings would potentially be the Goodwill store, which is this large portion of the building right here. And there is a fairly significant pot of parking in this area here. So staff envisioned that there would be the ability to share parking in the center, but additionally the applicant has discussed parking in the east portion of the lot. So I would defer that portion of the question to the applicant.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you.
Ms. Martano.
Is there going to be any sort of, maybe this is better for the applicant, have they told you any sort of signage or anything to direct the people? Because I can just see if you're coming there, you're going to park mostly in the front because that's easier to find. So I don't know what their plan is. Maybe I'll save that for them, or if they've told you to direct people to the back. I know you said they're going to have to put an entrance back there, but it seems kind of, is there any signage so people can find it? Because it's kind of hidden.
Chairman, Commissioner Lartano, there is a sign package for the commercial center. The church would likely have wall signage on the front of their building. There are also monument signs that you may have seen. There's one monument sign here on Van Buren Street. There's another monument sign here on Litchfield Road. There are no directional signs currently proposed for this center.
Okay. No further questions. Let's have the applicant come forward, and perhaps you can answer some of the questions. Mr. Farmer, would you state your name and address, please, for the record?
Hi, my name is John Farmer. My address is 12412 West Cambridge Road. That's in Avondale. And I'd like to answer any questions you have.
Let's start with Mr. Williams, and then we'll go to Ms. Loretano. So, Mr. Williams.
Well, again, my question was, you say your peak use is Sunday morning, and other than Sunday morning, you will only have 30 or 40 people visiting the church. Other than Sunday morning, could you get those people to use the parking lot on the east side of the building?
I suppose that we could, but because of the cross-parking agreements, throughout the complex, there is a restaurant that's behind, as well as other businesses adjacent to us on the west side. So we could, and likely will, have a certain number of people parking behind. We can, on Sunday mornings, I envision having our leadership parking in that eastern portion of the parking lot, which would be a fair number of those parking spaces, and the rest on the western portion. During the day, during business hours throughout the week, if that would be helpful, we could do that, but I don't think it would be necessary because my observation, and I might even defer to answering the question to the current owner who owns a fitness center that's there, and they have a large amount of parking going on during the week in front on the west side. The main entrance faces towards the west. I don't think it's become any problem with any of the other businesses, so my hope is that we could use both parking lots throughout the week, and our numbers would be small enough that I'm very confident it wouldn't interfere with the other businesses. I might add another thing on this issue. I've been involved with 3 other churches that have had congregations in commercial centers, and I'm very keenly aware of the needs of the businesses around us, their parking needs, and their concerns for their businesses. Our intent is to be a good neighbor toward them, and we want to be a blessing to the community, a blessing to our neighbors, and I would have, without even being asked, made sure that their businesses have adequate parking in front of them, and we would have policed that ourselves, and absolutely will do that.
I do have like a general concern about parking, and a specific one is like I think there was an indication that you would perhaps have Vacation Bible School or something like that, and at those times I would be concerned with having little kids come running out to the car in the busy parking lot. I would like to see them on the east side of the building, you know, where there is nobody in a hurry to get into the fast food restaurant.
In cases like that, certainly for safety's sake, we're very concerned about that ourselves. And if that did pose an issue or a problem of children running out, that definitely would be a safer situation for them and could easily be.
Thank you.
They could easily be directed that way.
Thank you. Ms. Loretano, Commissioner.
Yes, I actually see how you can be a benefit to the center, because every Sunday you're going to be bringing several, maybe 100-plus people, you know, into that area. My only concern is with the parking, because obviously that was the neighbor's concern. Do you have a plan or how you're going to kind of let your congregation know that maybe try to park in the back if possible? I mean, how do you envision doing that, since there's no signage in it? It's kind of hidden back there.
Well, our plan at the moment was not to direct people back there. What we can do is our leadership people, myself, my staff, Sunday school leaders, people who are coming there early, it would be very easy, because I meet with our leadership people anyway, to direct them towards the back. And that way a large portion of a good portion of our people would already know to drive to the back, making more room in the front. On Sunday mornings in particular, though, the center is, I don't believe there's any other business at this current time open, so I don't think it's going to pose an issue with any other business, whether we park on the west side or the east side.
Okay. Further questions? Mr. Laux? Mr. Slosher? Yes.
I'd just like to say, for my, I've sort of lost my voice, but I'm sympathetic to the adjacent business owners as far as parking's concerned, and I know my physique doesn't show it, but I've been frequenting that Taco Bell since driving from Tolleson High School 20-some years ago, and in looking at that picture there, the amount of cars that are along there, that's an accurate photo, right?
Correct.
I've never seen any more cars in that parking lot than is even on that photo there.
That's correct.
I mean, like I said, I'm sympathetic to the other property owners, but I think it's sort of much ado about nothing.
That's our feeling as well, sir.
So it's my honest opinion.
Okay. Good. Any further questions? Hearing none, then I better open the public hearing up for public comments. Does anyone wish to comment? Would you please come forward and state your name, address, for the record?
Yeah, my name is Dwayne Hager. I live at 2769 North, 149th Avenue in Goodyear. I'm actually the current owner of the building here. For the last 5 years, just to address some of the questions and issues that you brought up, over the last year we've used it as a fitness center. We've had over 2,500 members in our fitness center, with over 150 members in a 2-hour period. And from the initial get-go till forever, we've never had a parking issue ever in the center. We've actually never used the back of the center. The center, from my knowledge, even when Peter Piper Pizza was here, this back parking area has never really been utilized. There might be a couple parking spots here. So what we saw for the church's use is, even with 150 members, which would be approximately 150 cars, because people are showing up, they don't usually show up in couples. And our busiest times are on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. The busy times for businesses are the busiest time for us. And so, being that in mind, we've never had a parking issue with our whole center. So that's why when we talked with the city, we didn't think there should be any more stipulations, because we've had over 2,500 members there using the parking on those busy times, and it's never affected any other business. The time that they're mostly going to be using their parking is on Sundays, and currently there's only a laundromat and a Taco Bell that is open on Sundays. So the max would be 18% of the parking lot members would be using the parking on Sunday. So maximum, if everyone who is not open now or might open in the future might use the parking, that would be 18% of the parking lot would be used. So just to kind of address those issues, is we've always had plenty of parking here. Our employees, if they didn't, they would usually park in this area, and we still had plenty of parking there. Plus, the concern about children and child care, we actually have a child care facility in the building right now, where kids are coming in and out throughout the day, so there's no set time, mostly from 8 to 11 in the morning, and then also from 4 to 7 at night. And so even when it's dark outside, kids are in the child care coming out with their parents, and we haven't had an issue. Of course, because parents care about their kids and we care about the kids, people are mindful of the traffic that's going through there, but we haven't had a problem in over 5 years, and we have a child care facility there right now with people coming in and out at other times. When I think of the church, because most of their people will be coming at a specific time and leaving at a specific time, the overall awareness of the people pulling into the parking lot or in the area will be greater, because I know if I'm going to church and there's 15, 20 people coming in, people driving in will see, oh, there's a bunch of people here, let me slow down. So I think that help alleviates that concern with children.
Thank you.
Was there any questions?
Further questions? Thank you. Anyone else wishes to make a comment regarding this application? Hearing none, I will then close the public hearing. And is there commission discussion? Seeing none, I then would call for action on the agenda item.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve case number 08350-00005, the Vineyard Church Fellowship Use Permit as written with the stipulations.
Okay, with the stipulations. Okay. And is there a second? Mr. Schlosser, Commissioner, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
No.
4-1, and Mr. Laux votes no. Do you wish to comment?
Yeah, my reasons for my opposition are twofold. I'm concerned about the parking during the week. Obviously, Sunday there isn't going to be an issue since no one parks there anyway, since the businesses are closed. And second, I'm somewhat concerned about the compatibility of the church in this retail center. I'm not sure that they're going to mesh well. So that's why I'm voting no today.
Okay, thank you. The motion carried 4-1, and that case is now closed, and we're now at staff communications. Mr. Kraus.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of quick announcements. Reminder that we have a special commission meeting on October 29th. I think we have 6 items on the agenda. We'll probably have a tour at 4:30 and do our dinner and have the regular meeting at 7 at the Justice Facility on the 29th. Also, I wanted to know whether you wanted membership in the Arizona chapter of the American Planning Association. I think right now we have Commissioners Laurentano and Lux as members, and whether you want your membership renewed or if anyone else would like a membership, let Joe know. You get a magazine, some good information through the Arizona chapter of APA.
Is it helpful?
I assume.
I like it, so I'd like to continue.
I would be interested.
Okay.
Other commission members?
Do all of you want that?
Is that and they put on the conference every year that we go to?
Occasionally.
Sure.
We'll just sign everyone up, I guess. It's a nominal fee of $39.
I'm sure the chair would be interested, even though the chair is not.
He didn't want to the last time.
He didn't want to.
Is that the December?
When we offered it last year, he didn't.
He did not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, stand corrected. And the 29th, you said there were 6 items on the agenda, Mr. Kraus?
I'm sorry.
6 items on the agenda?
Yeah, we have Parks Master Plan update on the 29th, so Public Works has been spearheading that, and I want to give you an overview of the Parks Master Plan update.
And then there's other 4 or 5 regular items. Fry's Marketplace, large retail user at Cerebral and Yuma. There's 3 items related to that. Use permit for a school, and I'm forgetting the last item, but
a
full agenda.
Good.
So freeway pylon sign for the Cancer Treatment Center.
That'll be an interesting
and
meeting.
adjoining development, the airport gateway. So that's the other one. And we will bring with you, as I indicated to the Commission in the past, we have some data that shows the location of freeway pylon signs, existing and approved. So I think the Commission asked before about what else has been approved that hasn't been built yet. So we have some graphics to show you in conjunction with that case.
Good. and that 29th is 2 weeks from tonight. All right. Being no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. We are adjourned.